I'm worried. It's going to take a toll on our people.
We all love you to the moon and back, and we will never stop looking for you.
There's a little girl missing. And if it was mine, I'd want the world to be looking for her.
To sustain our hope for Jamie's safe return.
For 88 days, you called in tips.
2 hours later that she was found, I just cannot believe this.
It's amazing the will of that 13-year-old girl to survive and escape.
Today we can finally say Jamie Kloss is home.
It's a remarkable ending in the nationwide search for a missing Wisconsin teen.
13-year-old Jamie Kloss is alive, and as we see in that photo right there, reunited with her family nearly 3 months after she went missing. We have live team coverage tonight. We've had crews in Barron and also in Gordon in Douglas County all day.
We start with Amanda Quintana, who has an update from police.
Yes, we now know law enforcement has recovered a shotgun they believe is similar to the one used at the Kloss home in October to kill Jamie's parents, James and Denise. But that was not the only gun located in the Gordon home where Jamie escaped. Investigators are still trying to figure out why Jamie was the target. Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald said they believe Patterson went to her family's home with the intent of kidnapping her, but they haven't been able to find a link between Patterson and the Kloss family.
We also know now that the suspect was not at home when Jamie escaped. While I don't know how she escaped at this time, we believe that the suspect was out looking for her when law enforcement made contact with him.
Patterson did work at the Jenny O plant where Jamie's parents worked. That was over 3 years ago, and he worked there for just 2 days. They did not appear to have any contact. Sheriff Fitzgerald would not answer any questions about the condition of the home or how she was being restrained, but she is talking and has been released from the hospital. Law enforcement are trying to give her some space right now. We will find out more when Patterson makes his first court appearance on Monday at 3:30.
Amanda, thank you.
Jamie Kloss was found yesterday in Gordon, Wisconsin. That's in Douglas County, roughly an hour from where the Kloss family lived in Barron. A 21-year-old man from Gordon, Jake Thomas Patterson, faces the kidnapping and homicide charges. Police say he did work at that same Jenny O plant as Jamie's parents, but for less than 2 days, and then he promptly quit. Police believe Patterson killed the Klosses to abduct Jamie. She was able to run from the home in Gordon while he was out.
That neighborhood where Jamie was held is currently blocked off. News 3's Keely Arthur joins us live from there now. Keely?
That's right. Authorities are still here, including the FBI and DCI, combing through Patterson's home, trying to get more answers. Of course, that was where Jamie Kloss was held for nearly 90 days. To give you an idea where Gordon, Wisconsin is, we're about 4.5 hours north of Madison and an hour north of Barron, where Jamie was abducted 3 months ago. Now, the search for Jamie ended yesterday at 5 p.m. when Jamie, described as very thin with matted hair, approached a woman out walking her dog. Immediately, that woman recognized Jamie. She brought her to a nearby home, and that's when they called police.
I stayed calm, so she stayed calm. You know, I didn't grab her and run off through the woods, which would have been maybe an instinct, but no, I just held on to her and I said, we're going to find somebody who's home. We're going to call the police. You're going to be okay. You're going to be safe. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. I just kept saying that.
As we now know, police said Jamie, who was held captive by 21-year-old Jake Patterson. Patterson is now in police custody on kidnapping and homicide charges. Police believe he killed Jamie's parents back in October. We're learning more about him from neighbors here who describe him as a secretive kid. He was known for stealing gas from the neighborhood. We're also learning more about the cabin where Jamie was held captive. Now, it was owned by Patterson's father, but then sold to a credit union about 8 days after the abduction. The circumstances of that, like so many other parts of this case, remaining very unclear tonight, but certainly a happy ending to this mystery. Back to you.
Keely, thank you.
As you can imagine, a very emotional time for Jamie's extended family. She was released from the hospital this afternoon and then questioned by police. She has since been reunited with her aunt and will meet up with the rest of the family later tonight.
Disbelief, excited. I cried instantly. I fell to the bench that was sitting there when they told me. I got up and I hugged the chief deputy. I mean, the smile on his face was like, I knew it was good news. And I cried.
Jamie's family says they never gave up hope and always believed she was out there somewhere. They also want to thank the public for all the support and prayers they've received over the last few months.
Investigators received more than 3,000 tips in the search for Jamie Kloss. Multiple law enforcement agencies on the local, state, and national level were involved. At one time, there were more than 200 investigators working this case. Thousands of volunteers also were brought in to help search the woods and fields near the Kloss home in Barron.
The case had so many technical aspects that were very challenging for law enforcement. And everybody never blinked about putting aside their personal lives to bring a little girl home.
Investigators say this case remains fluid. They are currently obtaining a search warrant and plan to go through the home where Jamie was being held captive tonight. Two of those who helped in the search for Jamie are from Middleton. Amy Reed talked with those firefighters who took the call to help. Amy?
With all that time hearing almost nothing about Jamie's case, it would have been easy to lose hope, but these two volunteers kept faith, and now they're elated to hear the news of her return.
What's your last name?
Brad and Jackie still remember what it was like.
It was hopeful.
Hope. It was palpable through every volunteer.
Today we're going to be searching a 2 square mile area for anything pertinent to that search.
As they combed through the grass, it resurged in every piece of potential evidence. But time goes, and volunteers go too.
As time went on, a lot of people weren't as hopeful, but a lot of people like myself were very hopeful, and we're praying every day that we'd find her.
It maybe wasn't easy to hold out, but then again, as two firefighters and as two people willing to drive hundreds of miles just to help, ease isn't really a factor.
There is much more delivery of bad news in our line of work, so it's awesome to hear and be able to hear that there is good news in this instance.
This is breaking news from News 3.
Good news in the form of breaking news.
News came across and it was elation.
Oh my goodness. My husband, who is also a firefighter, we were sitting on the couch and I jumped up. I jumped up and started jumping up and down, but I'm a little more full of energy than he is.
In an industry and with a story that could have gone the other way, this outcome provides nothing but hope.
It does change your perspective, or it helps lighten your spirits. There's enough bad news in the world today that when you read the news and you wake up, it's a new day. There's new life for a family.
And maybe inspiration for Jackie.
After having this experience, I want to have something to help families out on a more stable level.
Helping families like Jamie's who are holding out on hope.
Again, there were thousands of volunteers like these two all over Wisconsin, and the investigators, the community, and the family were very emphatic in their many thanks for help.
Amy, thank you. Administrators with the Barron Area School District were emotional as they talked about her safe return. The district held many events like this balloon release as a way to honor Jamie while police searched for her. Administrators say the school safety team within the Department of Justice plans to help faculty and students in the weeks to come. The team will provide the district with on-site support through school psychologists, therapy dogs, and resource officers. Signs are popping up all over the Barron community welcoming Jamie home. This one outside the city's Dairy Queen. There's another one outside the Barron Baptist Church. Again, Jamie Kloss will be reunited with her family tonight, some 88 days after she first went missing.
Governor Tony Evers posted about the Kloss case on Twitter today, saying it was a collaborative effort that helped bring Jamie home and offered support to the teen and her family. Elizabeth Smart is also commenting on Jamie's return. She says it's a miracle the 13-year-old was found safe. Smart was 14 when she was abducted from her home in Salt Lake City in 2002. She was rescued 9 months later. News 3 will have live team coverage on this case all evening. We'll share any information that becomes available on channel3000.com. We're back with more news in 2 minutes.
Go
Welcome back. Now, the two utility companies are facing penalties from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration for their role in the Sun Prairie explosion. A local expert says it sends a message to contractors across the state.
Bear Communications and VC Tech will have to pay nearly $13,000 each, the maximum penalty allowed. New at 6, Madeline O'Neill has more on what the fines mean going forward.
OSHA has found that neither contractor involved properly established where underground utilities were before beginning work in Sun Prairie. Randy Way is an associate dean in the School of Applied Science, Engineering, and Technology at Madison College. Way says the OSHA decision makes it clear that the explosion should not have happened, and other contractors are paying attention. Beyond penalties to make sure mistakes like that don't happen again, he looks toward other industry changes.
We may learn things about sort of how this chain of causation came together that may change the practice of the industry. And that, at this point, is the best that we can hope for, is that we learn something from this and there's some change in rule or procedure in the industry that anticipates that an event like this might happen again and prevents it.
Way explains because of a change in subcontractors in Sun Prairie, there was a miscommunication about location markings that no one saw coming. Representative Gary Hebel is drafting legislation that would change regulations when it comes to marking utility lines. Reporting in Madison, Madeline O'Neill, WISC News 3.
Way says next thing to come in the Sun Prairie case are civil proceedings.
And Abby Barr, the widow of Corey Barr, who died in that explosion, has filed a lawsuit along with 2 injured firefighters. Flurries possible overnight. We've got the First Alert forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
And it's a story we first told you about yesterday concerning an investigation in Walworth County. Now we're finding out police discovered the remains of 2 people in a burn pit. That story is next at 6.
It's
An update now to our breaking news yesterday in Walworth County. A 43-year-old man from the Milwaukee suburb of Franklin has been arrested for murder in connection with an investigation in Walworth County. Police discovered the remains of 2 people in a burn pit on a farm near East Troy last night. The suspect was leasing the property. His name has not been released, although the Walworth sheriff says he is a business owner. They're also trying to identify the 2 people found dead.
The man accused of driving at speeds of over 100 miles per hour last April on Midvale Boulevard in Madison, killing a man, is sentenced today to 7 years in prison. 20-year-old Benjamin Cortez, sentenced in Dane County Court. He pleaded guilty to second-degree reckless homicide and first offense operating while intoxicated. Cortez lost control of his car on Midvale at a high rate of speed, killing Greg Namitz, severely injuring his wife Patty as they walked their dog. Cortez also was sentenced to 5 years extended supervision.
And here's a look at your first alert forecast.
Well, Charlotte and Eric, we could be dealing with a lot more snow if we were just a little bit farther south, because this next snowmaker, this next low pressure system is just going to skirt to the south of southern Wisconsin. High pressure to our north is going to ensure that, and it's going to be close but no cigar for southern Wisconsin. We can see the winter storm warnings are in effect for the areas you see shaded in pink there. So Indianapolis, Springfield, St. Louis, all the way back to Kansas City. Also some winter weather advisories a little bit farther north, but not including northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. So that means Madison is going to continue with this very non-snowy January that we've been experiencing. Still a lot of the month to go and still a lot of the winter to go to get some of this snow, but we're on pace for the second least snowiest January on record if things keep up as they are. The good news for snow lovers is down the road, temperatures are going to turn a little bit chillier by the back half of this month, as you might expect. So highs will be a little bit above normal for the next 5 to 7 days. And then by the time we get to not this weekend, but next weekend, I think those temperatures get down below normal. And during that same time period, especially by the time we get to about the 20th or the 21st of this month, I think we'll start to see some above normal precipitation become more likely. So that could set up a little bit of snow, which I know a lot of us are really, really aching for this time of year, but not in the near term. Time lapse in Madison started out with a little bit of sunshine, but then the clouds really hung tough through much of the day. Mostly cloudy skies kept our temperatures in the upper 20s for highs, which is a little bit above normal for this time of year. Here's a look at what it looks like right now in Madison. The WISC-TV sky cam, mostly cloudy skies. Right now, those temperatures are still in the upper 20s. That's where they'll hang out for much of the night. 30 in Mineral Point. One of the warm spots is Boscobel at 31. Wind chills are not too bad, but it does feel a little bit closer to 20 in Madison and 22 in the Dells with that southeasterly wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So future track showing this panhandle hook system not hooking. And oftentimes when we get these types of systems, they hook to the north and impact southern Wisconsin. Not this time, because high pressure is blocking that system from heading farther north. So that keeps the dry weather in town for the next couple of days, for this weekend, and into much of next week as well. So our snow potential is nothing for southern Wisconsin. Maybe a couple of flurries, a couple of snow showers out of the question. If any snow does accumulate, it will be a coating at best, and that will be a little bit closer to the state line. You can see some of these snow totals, though, closer to St. Louis and Decatur, about 9 inches of snow. Some spots could pick up about a foot of snow before everything is said and done later this weekend, well south of us, closer to St. Louis. So the 7 to 10-day forecast looking at temperatures a little bit milder by the time we start next week, and temperatures by Tuesday will be in the upper 30s with partly sunny skies. Then some better snow chances arrive as we start next weekend with temperatures near 30, and colder temperatures look to remain with us for the back half of January.
Two old Badger football buddies go head-to-head in the NFL playoffs this weekend. Melvin Gordon talks about his friend, James White. Story in sports. Badger football opened last season with a Friday night 8 o'clock game last fall. Tonight, the Badger men's basketball team does the same, an 8 o'clock game on a Friday night. The Purdue Boilermakers are in town, and we go live to the Kohl Center, where Melissa Kim looks ahead to tonight's game between Purdue and Wisconsin. And she's there, but she's not there because, like, the thing isn't going like this. So we're going to go back to that in a little bit, we hope. So, in the meantime, Badger football. Badgers offensive coordinator Joe Rudolph won't be the next head coach at Temple. Northern Illinois' Rod Carey gets the Temple job, so Rudolph will now stay in Madison, at least for now. Sunday at noon on Channel 3, the Chargers-Patriots playoff game will feature a couple of the greatest running backs in Wisconsin Badger football history. Melvin Gordon for the Chargers, James White for the Patriots. They were close when they were in Madison, and they're still very close.
Like my big brother, man, you know, mentor. He's been there for me, you know, through some hard times, especially through college, and he's looked out for me. And you know, I actually, you know, stayed with him the whole offseason this year, yeah, in Fort Lauderdale. We have a great relationship, man. He's been like a mentor to me since I've been, you know, in college, and you know, definitely my big brother.
Our next Prep Mania game of the week is Thursday night. Two of the top boys hockey teams in the state have a non-conference game, Edgewood at Sun Prairie. Join Bill Brophy and me for the game live on channel3000.com next Thursday at 7:45. This is Zach Taylor. He's probably going to be named head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals soon. He married the daughter of former Packers head coach Mike Sherman. The Bengals are going through background checks, but Mike Sherman said about his son-in-law, "I did all the background checking you'd want before he got married, and I know everything that's happened since, so I can tell you he's good."
I'd say that's a pretty good reference.
From personal experience, I can say our son-in-law checked out. So
a lot of that's
all
kind
the
of
credit
the trend,
references.
all these young guys getting these gigs.
Except for the guy in Denver, the Pick Fangio, the old Bears guy. So anyway, Wisconsin-Purdue play at 8 o'clock tonight. The game's on FS1, and the Badgers have had pretty good success against the Boilermakers. They'll play one of the best players in the Big Ten in Carson Edwards, but outside of Carson Edwards, Purdue doesn't have many guys like Carson Edwards, if you know what I mean. So the Badgers ought to win, but you never know. It's the Big Ten.
And we'll have an update on that game tonight on News 3 at 10, at least an update. And Dave Caulfield joins us now with the latest on the weekend forecast.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse. We could be talking about a major snow system, but that stays just to the south, and I mean just in some spots. High pressure to our north keeps this snow out of our neck of the woods for this weekend. There is a chance, though, that we do see a few flurries, especially into tomorrow, and a couple of snow showers, not out of the question, but I don't anticipate any impacts or major accumulations with this. But spots like St. Louis, man, they are really getting hammered with that snow.
Talk to my parents about that?
Yeah, about a foot of snow is possible for some spots in St. Louis. And temperatures over the next 12 hours will really be staying pretty steady in the upper 20s. The clouds will be staying with us, but not a lot of snow will be falling from those clouds as we head into tomorrow. And then the weather staying pretty quiet and rather mild into Monday and Tuesday with highs close to 40, partly sunny skies. Could be a few flurries in the morning on Wednesday, but nothing significant. Our next chance of maybe some snow showers that could accumulate will be on Friday and Saturday as temperatures dip into the lower 30s. Then as we head into Sunday and Monday, I think those temperatures could get a little bit colder. By the end of this month, I think the single digits could finally come back to Madison for the first time in almost a year, but we'll keep an eye on that. Looking colder and maybe a little bit snowier to end the month of January.
All right. Dave, well done. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And thank you for joining us tonight for News 3 at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.